What's going on, everyone? You're back with your boy Jono for another quick math lesson. Today we're going to look at angles, and this is an introductory lesson. So if you haven't looked at this topic before, definitely stay around till the end. So we do love to quantify things exactly. We want exact measurements. We want to know how far exactly is that thing away from us. We want to know exactly how hot it is. Hell, it's good to know exactly how much money we've got. And angles are just another tool in our toolbox in order to measure things exactly. And it's something we're going to look at all throughout high school, so it's really good to get your head around it nice and early. So an angle will pop up every single time two lines intersect. And intersect just means cross over. So here I've got two lines that cross over at some point, and angles are formed. This is an angle, this is an angle, this one. So when we have these two lines intersect, four lines are made. So what we need to be able to do is tell the difference between these. They look different, we can see that pretty quickly, but being able to communicate to someone else exactly how they are different with numbers is what angle measurement is all about. So something that's really important is we need to label angles effectively, right? In this, there's four angles around my point P in the middle. I've got two lines and there are four angles. So it's really important that you can tell someone which one you're talking about in really exact ways. I might be talking about this angle here, and you can't just say, oh yeah, it's the one on the left. That doesn't really make any sense. We've got to be explicit with which one we are talking about. So the convention is we talk about the two lines and the point. And the point always goes in the middle. So the way that I think about it is you start on one of these lines. So I could start on B or A. It doesn't actually matter. And then I'm going to trace it all the way across without taking my pen off the page. So for this one, I go from B into P and A, and now that's the one that I'm talking about. In order to label this angle, all I've got to write down is the points that I go to. So I started at B, so that's the first letter I write down. Then I go to P, so that's my second letter, and then I go to A, that's my last one. So this is the angle BPA. And that little symbol at the very start there just means angle. So the convention, so every single time, the point where the angle is made, so that point P, for example, always goes in the middle. The two arms, the B and the A, go on the outside. Just be aware that APB is exactly the same as BPA in this example because I'm still talking about the two arms with that point in the middle. So see if you can have a go at labeling this angle here. Right? It's obviously different to the one we were talking about before, but just make sure that the P is in the middle. So if you got CPD or BPC, either one's 100% correct, and I'm sure you're on top of this. So now we know which angle we're actually talking about. We've got to be able to measure them in order to communicate something to another person. So these two angles look really different, and we know that they're different, but we've got to be able to explain how they're different to someone else. So angles are measured in degrees, not like temperature where we've got degrees Celsius or whatever, but degrees is just the unit that we use in order to get this. Remember that a circle is 360 degrees, so we're definitely going to be talking about that in a future lesson. The takeaway for us is that the bigger the gap between the two lines that are intersecting, the bigger the angle in degrees. So the higher that degree number is going to be. We're going to really look at this in detail next lesson, but that is the key takeaway. The bigger the gap, the higher the degrees. We measure this with a protractor. So we've been using rulers to measure distance, and a protractor is kind of like a ruler for degrees. It'll tell us how big the gap is so that everyone's using the exact same standard units in order for us to communicate with someone else. Thanks so much for watching this lesson, guys, and I'll see you later.